Hello, and welcome to the Casino Tears podcast. I'm one of your hosts, 10 Ton is number one, and joining me as my co-host is the one and only Ed Robinson from Roll to Win Craps. If you want more info on our show, please visit our page at casinotears.com. On this week's show, we discuss Dean the Machine, 41 rolls, tipping. We also touch on 6 Easy, the hunting vest, special deliveries table, Geedub's hermit crab, and Ed catches a bluefin in Biloxi. Dude, I like it. You're growing out you're looking like a linebacker from the Raiders, dude. So, you know that.
I am.
I know. I like it, man.
I am an old linebacker from the Raiders.
I like it when you're running late because then my late becomes on time.
And you're early. You're early, dude. You told me Monday, Thursday for sure. This is Wednesday.
And then I even said, okay, how about we do it 6:30 and it's 6:22? Look at improvement. All it takes is you venting. Can I just show you what someone sent me in the mail today, which was a surprise and put a huge smile on my face, and it will with yours. Check out this shirt, dude.
Kobayashi. Who sent that?
Fucking 6 Easy from Massachusetts sent me this.
Really?
He plays at Encore over there in Boston. Isn't that awesome, dude?
I'm jealous.
He sent me a Kobayashi shirt. And check this out, Ed. He also sent me yet a nice little note that he wrote. And he sent me this. Do you see this?
I do see that.
And it says, Amor Fati.
It looks like a battle coin.
Yeah, it means love your fate. He's just awesome. This is such a nice note.
Can you read it? Or should you not?
I don't know. He said, all right, I'll read it. This is a Stoic coin. Amor Fati translates to love your fate. It's used as a reminder. What it represents is an awesome way to live. I am fired up to give this because I know it will serve you well. I went down the Stoic rabbit hole a few years ago, and I am better for it. My guess is you don't have much spare time to deep dive into this, so use it as a reminder for quality life balance as you see fit. Plus, I just think it's a badass coin, which it is. This is a badass looking coin, man. This is a badass coin.
That would always be in my pocket if I were gambling, if I were you.
You know what, Ed? I'm going to put it in my license.
Perfect place for it.
This is a badass coin. He's right. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's got a skull on it. This guy, 6 Easy, he's great. We have great conversations, man. He just calls me. He loves the podcast, Ed. I told you, he feels like our podcast just like speaks to him, totally relates to it. And he's genuinely, you know what? He called me and he even apologized to me for being like, not necessarily, he thought he was telling me what to do, like to be careful living in Vegas, gambling, like seriously worried about me going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's nice that someone cares.
Yeah, it is.
Amor Fati, dude.
Especially the more we know you.
I'm putting this in my license, which Ed, dude, I was walking through the door at one of these casinos last night, and 4 dudes, it was Aria, come out wearing, the like the convention.
Yeah.
Lammers, just like ours. And I crack up because it could be ours. Like, it just looks like I'm an undercover convention person every time I go out with wearing the license. Because I wear it like that. Dude, this is awesome. So I'm putting this in the license and taking it out, dude.
That is awesome. And I appreciate him letting you know that he enjoys our show.
Dude, the Kobayashi shirt, I'm wearing this thing out tonight, dude.
Absolutely. Who you going to play with tonight?
Well, dude, listen, man, I don't want to I got so much to tell you, but you went to Biloxi.
Yeah, but you got more to tell me than I got to tell you.
Fuck, do you want to hear about last night?
Whatever you want to talk about, dude.
Okay, dude. First of all, I owe you a thank you, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Everybody out there.
Yeah.
He just thanked me.
So people were thanking me because Dean the Machine showed up at our table, but I was thanking you. You kept saying Dean the Machine is like, you probably said quality guy. That's one of your sayings, quality guy, which he is, because I had a great conversation with him over at the Stadium Craps the night before.
He had a great career in Hollywood and the movies.
Yeah, and Dean the Machine.
He did Star Trek stuff too, by the way.
I know. He left a great voicemail on the vent line, which we should be playing, but you know what? We're not prepared for it right now. But either way, it was very long, and I told him he gave me one of the best compliments for the show because his career was in the movie business and he appreciates the audio quality of the podcast so
I
much.
knew you would catch that. I knew you would catch that.
Dude, that means so much to me because someone understands how much care has been taken from day one to make sure that this sounds good.
Yep.
Like the hotels I have to trade for the guy that does our overall final limiting. You know what I mean? The guy that helped me set this up and sort of oversee a lot of the technical aspects of it. And then like at least got me on my way. By the way, I got him a room at Caesars right now. 4 or 5 nights on my comps.
Nice.
Paying it, man. Just paying it. All right. So I met Dean the other night. He
Yep.
was with a couple guys. I forgot their name, man. I know one of them's from like Oklahoma and I think one's from Seattle, maybe. But dude, when I was watching Dean, I commented to the other guys. I'm like, Dean was playing stadium craps over at Paris. I'm like, I was cracking him up. I'm like, dude, look at this guy. He's like a fucking Terminator, like a cyborg. He goes in the same position. And he is like literally like it's like Groundhog Day, the same exact position for throwing. I don't think I've seen anyone. He's locked in the same way.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I know. But he does it.
I know he does. I played with him several times.
He must be very well practiced, dude.
He practiced a lot, and he and I trade notes on tosses and dice sets and bone tracker stuff a lot. So
yeah, that's something that he said after his 41 roller yesterday. Then I asked him what set he was using, and he said, well, it's like a bone tracker set that he's used. I believe it's a variation of a 3V. I think it was a 4-1-4-2 maybe, or 4-2-4-1 maybe. I don't know. I think it was a 4-2-4-1. I think, if my memory. Anyway,
was he a stick right?
Stick right 2, actually, because Jen got in there.
Because he's a lefty, if I recall correctly.
I know. I didn't know that. So check it out. So he had called me earlier and I'm like, he's like, oh, Horseshoe. And I have no plans on going to the Horseshoe right now. I'm just not in love with the place right now. So I said, okay, well, listen, I'm going to go out later. I'll let you know where I am because I always park at Paris, valet, and then I can go so many different directions, man. I could go into Paris, Horseshoe, Cromwell, that direction, or I could just easiest way to get into Planet Hollywood. Park there, just walk there, right there.
Yep.
So don't like go into Planet Hollywood's parking. It's just a mess. So I let him know and then went in there, met a crew. Ed, I wish you were out here right now. There's so many fucking shooters right here. So walk in there and then I see first person I bump into wearing a Casino Tears, one of the OG green font shirts was Sen 8. So I saw him. He had taken a lesson with Bo earlier that day. Saw him. He was sitting outside, not in a game. And then there was Jen was there at this other table. And then there's 2 people that say hello. There's Jester.
Hey, Jester.
Then there's Special Delivery Ted. I like that dude. That dude was there too. And I met him both the other night with.
I got a picture of him dressed in a Roman uniform playing craps at Caesars.
No way, really?
Yeah. That's
the kind of guy
he was wearing. He was wearing, I don't know if I've really got it anymore, but I've seen it. Because he's a real tall guy, right? Pretty tall.
He's pretty tall, yeah.
Pretty tall, thin guy.
I don't know what you call tall and what I call tall is probably different because I'm,
well, he's my height or better. He's my height.
He's taller than me, that's for sure.
I've never seen him. I've never met him in person.
Yeah, I know he's got a nice table.
There's a story behind his table.
What is it? He was showing me like lammers and stuff. We were like,
okay, but his assuming it's the right same Ted, I know his table was an original Taj Mahal from Atlantic City table.
I think that's it because he's from New Jersey.
Yeah, that's him. All right, so he bought this original Taj Mahal table off the floor. It used to be owned by Trump.
That's sweet.
And when he found out that Gargoyle had an original Taj Mahal table felt, he was having a heart attack trying to get it.
I see. Yeah.
And so, but he didn't. So my understanding, he didn't want to put it back on the table and use it, but he wanted to get it in the room. And I think he's actually got it encased and hung on the wall up there with it. But before he did it, this is the funny part. Before he put it up, he laid it out on his table, and every hole that you would be cut into the table, like for the drop box and everything matched perfectly. So there's a really good chance that he's actually not only got an original table, he's also now got an original felt that was once on that table.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we interrupted your story.
No, that's okay. Well, he's part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so met those guys the night before, and we played at Planet Hollywood at the table that I told you puts out. There's a one table that I'm going to go point out all these tables to you when you're here, Ted. That's the table that puts out.
My name's Ed. That's Ted.
I mean, Ed. Yeah. Well, I was there with Ted. At least he knows, because I've said this to them. That specific table. So the night before we were there, we all had good rolls. This is when it's great, Ed. Jester started, then special delivery, and then Jen and myself. We all were in the teens, the high teens. That's a great way to start.
Fantastic way to start.
Solid, dude.
Fantastic way. Yes.
I think everyone up until me, there were 2 numbers away, from making them all. We always left 1 number on each side. Got to me again. I'm still throwing that hard way set. I need the 10 and 3, banged out the 10. So I hit the tall, which helped tremendously. And then I think I just stayed 2 more shooters, and it was like a Kobayashi time, dude. Kobayashi time.
Kobayashi.
For like $860 or something. And that was nice. And then we reconvened at Planet Hollywood the next night. Thank God I said, Dean, we're at Planet Hollywood. Because he made his way from Horseshoe, showed up at the perfect time. Justice Jen, they both walked over.
Did you introduce Dean to everybody?
Yeah. Dean met the crew. Yeah, man. He met that crew. Thank God Justice Jen was there. She was documenting the roll, which was epic. A 41 roller, Ed, and you have it in front of you just so you could see it. You should look at that roll, dude. And because, Ed, what you said to me, so this is what Ed said on the phone. If you get a chance to shoot with Dean, bet the 6 and 8. Bet the 6-8 is what you said.
I did say that.
And dude, so check out what his first number was. You see it? I'm going to pull this up. First number. See Dean down at the bottom, right?
Yep. 10 hard.
10 hard, right?
Yeah.
And then so that was his point.
Yep.
He had 6. Because of what you said, and this is what I mean, the thought process, I just started with 6 and 8 with him. But I bet the 6 and 8 big, 150 each. And then he banged the 6 2 numbers later and hit the ace deuce then the 6. So I was down 2,000 at that point, 2,500. Okay. $10,000 buy-in. We had just got done with like 4 or 5, a few rolls, which were not good.
I'm looking at this roll, man. I go ahead. I'm just laughing at all.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
I'm laughing.
So Ed, and this is what I mean. Sometimes you have to change your systems, or how you're thinking. It's the thought process, which I thought would have been, if anyone was watching me, and Ted, special delivery had the front row seat. It wasn't like I was doing the same thing. You're making decisions all the time in this role. The first part of my decisions, which I think it's important to look at. I'm down 2,500.
Mm-hmm.
His second number point was 10. I put full odds behind that because I had 100 on the line, knowing, okay, if he makes his point, that's a huge payday for me. That's $700.
Yep.
Right. But also on the 6, instead of doing the 10-ton 2-hit takedown, when he hit it that second time on his 4th roll, instead of pulling down 500 on that hit, I'm like, Ed said he hit 6 and 8s. This story is checking out right now. 4 rolls, he's hit 2 6s. So then the decision was made in my head. I'm going to get greedy here, but I'm going to let this develop into a long pass play, and I'm going to leave it at 600, knowing that 600 is going to pay 700. I'm taking down 1,000 and pulling it back down to 300. And that way I've gotten if he just hits his point and hits his 6 again, that's 1,700. I'm back in the game. I've now recouped very quickly what I've been down. And now I can start what I think is I was thinking about yesterday. It was almost like I was a driver, like a race car driver. And I was just speeding up, slowing down, taking the turns tight. You know what I mean? That's what was going on in his role. And then And he also threw a hard way. The second hard way he threw, which was a 6, I'm like, this guy is gonna throw hard ways. Ed, you've seen it. Like certain people, when they throw hard ways early, they're just gonna start throwing hard ways. So that's when I was like $100 hard 10.
All right.
Because and then I started betting the
Well, think
hard.
about it. Let me interrupt you because you said he had 4s on top.
Yeah.
All right. So 3s are on bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Full facial control on the bottom right there. Boom. Now, so your hard 10 that he come out with, that was an off axis 10, hard 10. And then he hit his point. It was what?
His point, his point was 10.
And he hit it hard. He established it hard, and then he made his point
Yeah, he made his point.
hard.
Yeah, he made his point. Dude, I had $100 two-way with 25 for the dealers on that one.
That's generous. Good for
Hell
you.
yeah, dude. Because here's the other thing. I wanted to also talk about this tipping out at the end of the night. Because I'm not sure if they looked at me funny. I tipped out like a couple $100, like $260 on my win, but I was making big ass bets that came in for them.
Yeah, that's important.
I mean, that 25 for them on the hard 10, that is generous. And that was immediate. And so every hard way bet was pretty much money with them. Ed, he hit a $225 hard 4 that I had. And they had money on it too. I don't know how much they had, but they had more than 25 on it for sure. The dealers did.
Yeah.
So that's generous right there, whatever it is. And then I pushed my hard 4 up to 400, dude. It was exciting, man. I get so, like I said, these are the times in my life that I live for. I am absolutely thrilled when I'm looking at this. And I was like, Jen, I got 400 hard 10. I don't know what Jen was talking about. Probably about a number she was laying for insurance.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
Jen, love you. That roll was epic. And then it got to a point where, okay, I'm even. Once I knew that I was even, looked at the dealer and I'm like, we're stepping on the gas, buddy. 4s, I'm going up. 4s and 10s, I'm pressing up, taking money. And then all of a sudden, Ed, like those hard ways come in, hits his point. By the way, I think his second point was 5. It took him forever to hit the 5. I don't know if he ever hit the 5. I didn't have the 9. And it's one of those times I didn't mess with it. I just kept it on even numbers. And he just kept banging 6s. And sometimes I was taking it 8s. He finally started hitting 8s later on in the roll. Through a 12, boom, the all tall comes in. That's just like bonus time, right? For me, 750. So now you're just getting up there. And then he finally bangs out aces, brings it all in. I had 75 on it, 25, 25, 25.
And that's one of the few times you'll probably get to see Dean really, somewhat.
Dean is a cool customer, man. I'm telling you.
He doesn't get overly done. I mean,
I mean, Dean the Machine, he's like, I think afterwards in the post game interview, in the press room, he was talking about how he just felt like this, like a duty to like perform for people. Like he was there, like that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was shining, dude. He was the machine, dude.
Dean's a good guy, good friend of mine. We don't, I mean, he lives out west, so I don't get to see him all that often, but we stay in touch and keep up with what's going on in the world. And last time we played was in Colorado.
Yeah, no, talk to him about that.
Just me and him on the table. We freaking wore that shit out.
Talk about making an entrance. That was just like, Dean, so I mean, that was a devastating role. I'm sure Planet Hollywood was not thrilled. Very funny thing. And I need to mention this because Special Delivery brought this up. He's like, you should talk about this on the podcast. And I'm like, I should. So I'm up over $10,000. Okay. It's like I bought in that table for 10,000. I left with over 20,000. That was a much needed hit. So at the end of that roll, Special Delivery's like, he had a 6 at 600. I did too. And my 8 and my 4 and 10 were at 1,000. Right. I was just like, I just wanted those to start hitting. Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, should we take it down to 100? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe he had some intel over there, but if I had known that Jen said, yeah, Dean said he was getting a little tired or something, I would have I didn't have that intel. If I'd known that, I would have been like, yeah, let's do it.
But did Dean reduce? I mean, Dean plays a different style than you.
Dean made a
He
decent
made good
amount. I
money.
think he
Oh, I
made
know
like
he
over
did.
4,000.
Yeah, yeah. He doesn't come out racing, from the get go. He's kind of like me. He builds up and goes.
It was strong. I think he probably took in the most after me because I looked over and he was getting those things up there. So anyway, special deliveries thoughts were correct. He is correct. He was correct, unfortunately, because I said, okay, how about this? Why don't, if that 6 or 8 hit, why don't we just pull down 1,000, just leave it at 300 and then just let it like cook. And then why don't we just take down numbers
Yeah.
instead of just taking them down all at once? Because you just never know. But it turns out he was Nostradamus and he was correct. And then it was just 7 out. And we both looked at each other and we're like, oh, but I don't know. That's a tough situation because that's a mega roll. Is it going to stop? Why take it down? And there was a wrong time to interrupt that roll.
Yeah, you don't want to interrupt that roll.
We could have just gave him that cutthroat to, stop. It's either here nor there.
I think he went over to Bo's on Friday.
Who, Dean?
I know yeah.
Dean did. Yeah, Dean was over there.
Because he was going down, he was meeting some friends. That's probably who you met the night before or whatever. They were on some kind of little junket trip or down to Laughlin. I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, it had to do with Laughlin. And then, dude, Bo didn't even know Dean was coming over. I ended up calling Bo. I said, hey, Bo, some guy Dean is coming over to your place. He's like, what?
Yeah, Dean missed the memo. I mean, Bo missed the memo.
Yeah, something like that. It's funny. So, yeah, man, that was an epic, epic, epic roll. You gotta love to be there and capitalize on something like that. And I sure did, man. I made that count.
I remember I wasn't there, but I know the story on Dean. One time they were a couple of years ago, they were downtown in Vegas with a bunch of guys, and Dean had a rough weekend. He had not shot well. And he felt, and again, I needed to perform, right? So then he was feeling bad because he wasn't performing well. And so they take him to, what is it, Fremont that gives away the jackets? And they made him roll.
Oh my God, dude. I just witnessed a 40 roller and I'm part of the administration team for our vests. And just as Jen was there to document to sign off on it, Dean actually won a vest.
He did, didn't he?
He won a Casino Tiers vest for the 40 roller, dude.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't even realize that. Dean, we owe you our first official Casino Tiers hunting vest as a 40 roller, dude.
Yes, we do.
This is like a historic.
It is historic. Let's drink to that.
Yeah, dude, let's drink to that.
What are you drinking? That's some kind of soda pop shit.
The Culture Pop soda, orange, mango, and lime. One day we'll get a sponsor.
It's not going to be soda pop.
I got a couple things to still tell you about last night, man.
Tell me.
Okay, one, I want to talk about tipping after a roll like that. Okay, so I gave Dean a solid tip, but I would give it's proportionate to what I won. If someone came up to you, Ed, and was like, hey, by the way, Ed, 10 ton's going to roll 40 times. You got to have a 40 roller tonight, just so you know. And now I want $500 for that information, but he's definitely going to have a 40 roller. Would you take that? Yes.
Yeah.
That would be worth it because you can make a shit ton of money based off of that investment. So I always tip, I always think shooters, you should tip shooters that you make good money on, that roll the bonus and you've made a lot of money on them. I think it's like good universal karma for that. It's proportionate to the amount you've won. But as far as dealers go, I think sometimes, by the way, some girl, I don't know who it was, asked what her average bet was,
Yeah.
And at the end of the night when we were calling up and then someone else did, I was like, what was mine? Right. The lady looks at it. She's like 3,000.
Yeah.
Which was funny. So sometimes the crew doesn't understand that even if you're cashing out, like whatever, let's say a few thousand, you might be in the hole.
Yeah, exactly.
From other places and have markers out, which is what I did. Ed, I went out this morning, took a nice stroll. What a great stroll over to Bellagio. Remember that session that I had like about 40 days ago with Vegas Day Tripper, who I met up with, gave him his license today, and paid off the rest of that little marker from that disastrous experience. And then I went back to Aria, paid off a little I owed them, and I am officially up, man. since I've been keeping track, since I've officially moved here. And this is a nice feeling, dude.
It is nice. Congratulations.
Very nice feeling. I don't want to give any back, Ed.
No, never.
So and then tipping. So I had like $260 in like greens, reds, and whites that I just gave them.
That's a lot.
So do you think that's a lot?
I think I mean, everybody's got their own number.
I made
but,
over 10 grand.
And you kept the dealers on bets, and they won money on bets.
Yeah, but I didn't keep them on tons of place bets. I bet lots of hard ways, and I
bet everybody else kind of had them up, knowing the people.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you know what? One of the nicest things I have seen, special delivery. He was like, at one point, because he was up, he put the dealers up for quarters, and that guy, the dealer, I've never seen him smile so hard. He was like, really? He was so happy. That was one of the coolest things I've seen. Special delivery. That was awesome to see. And that dealer was like, you're kidding. Like, really? I've actually never really seen that. That was really freaking cool that he did that. He was up. I prefer betting for dealers rather than handing it in, because I'll throw them $5 here. All my dollars, I always just throw them immediately. But those bets on the hard ways, that's what I want them. And they win.
They won a lot. They won a lot. So, I probably wouldn't have handed them $260, but you did, and that's fine. I mean, we're different people with different strokes, because if I bet them really good, now I know I got I got an extra 10 grand in my rack, and I've done stupid hand ins before. So, and I say stupid kind of like casually, lightly, or whatever.
Yeah.
That was very healthy. And if they were disgruntled with that, I would say, well, if you don't like that, how about zero next time?
Because if you add in the hard ways, I mean, even those hard way bets that came in, those were over $100.
And they made $1,000 off you.
They made at least 500 off of me for sure, at least.
And
because every hard way I had up for them, so they were making something. And I don't know what they got paid on that 250 hard way on the hard 4 that he hit. All I know is like, I can't believe he just hit it. I'm going to 400.
How high were you on your hard 10?
Only 100, and he hit it.
He hit 100.
Yeah, and then the next time he didn't.
$700, because that was plus your pass line, or plus your odds on your pass line.
Those were big hits, man.
Dealers don't know whether you're up or down, and they need to understand that. And I think a lot of them do. So what? You colored up a big number. It doesn't mean even a big number doesn't mean you're up for your trip.
No,
or you're up for your, the day or
or
whatever.
Up for the past month and a half. Like I am up for the past month and a half now, because I was only down like a few thousand, and I've been creeping back, not making these mistakes. I just went back and repented for my mistakes by going back in. Here's your money that I owe you, but I'm glad I'm paying it with winnings, and clean the slate, and it's nice.
Yeah.
You want to know? So who else showed up, but unfortunately ended up going to sleep and missed that roll?
Who?
Geedub.
Geedub missed that roll?
Geedub, Dean the Machine, essentially took Geedub's spot at the table. Listen, Geedub showed up, parrots on his shirt. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, it was awesome seeing that dude. Anyway, I got to see Geedub shoot, because I've never seen him shoot. He's another dude. Man, that guy's practiced, Ed. Have you seen him shoot?
Not in person.
Whoa. Interesting. It's so interesting seeing how everyone's form is, right? His like whole entire like back of his hand, dude, is like on the table. Yeah. Like when he shoots, I haven't seen anything like that, but it's very repetitive. You could tell it's very practiced, very disciplined, same form. I love that shit, man. These guys are like pros, how they approach it, how they approach their shooting. Dude, he hit the tall. I had like a 10-10-10 on it. I didn't know he was shooting. I should have had more on it, but he hit the tall. He had a great shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I got to name that. His whole entire back of his hand is on the table, dude. I don't know what it was. It reminded me of like
a backhand in tennis.
Something, dude. But it's like laying right on the table. I'm like,
yeah, I've seen that.
It almost was like a hermit crab, dude. That's what it kind of looked like, Ed. Like the hermit crab toss. You know how a hermit crab looks, dude? A hand and then it comes out. It looked like that, dude. Unfortunate for him, he ended up going to bed because he was tired. Yeah, and that pretty much capped that evening.
So you had a great crew of craps people. I don't know how they all assemble. You know, you got Jen, you got
Dude, you got Jen, Jester, special delivery.
I don't know. Maybe all those just I don't think that was by accident. I think they
No,
all
they were
kind
all
of
hanging out in a pack, dude, a pack of hunters, dude.
Yep. Yep. And so, and then you throw in somebody I know well, Dean the Machine.
Yeah, then you throw in these seems like these solo hunters. You got I forget and Senate was there, he showed up. So on his own, solo hunting. Obviously, Geedub, solo, and then you've got Dean the Machine just rolling in like a fucking badass, dude. Dude, it seems like he's a good looking dude. He could have been in the movies, man. He's got that chiseled kind of look, you know?
He's very handsome fella, very chiseled, and
He could have played a good guy or a bad guy, sort of like that Pierce
but
Brosnan
he
side
didn't
of.
he had a he didn't do in front of the camera. All of his work was behind the camera, and his work that he did was ending up in front of the camera.
Special effects guy, right?
Yep, he was a special effects guy. Yep. Oh yeah, he knows his business, and he knows and he knows podcasts. He and I have talked about it several times because he's got others that are involved in the genre that he's always been worked in. He follows a lot, so we've talked about it. And one of the things he told me was that he finds it more interesting and more engaging when the people on the podcast kind of give a little personal stuff. And I've tried to throw that in because of what he said at times. So
I'm glad you have. See, it's about craps, but not about craps.
not all the time. It's not. We're humans just like everybody else. We like to have a good time. We all got stories.
Man, Ed, I'm loving this coin, dude. I'm putting it
That's
in the license
you
holder.
got to. You got to put it in there. I went to Biloxi last weekend.
Oh yeah, dude. Let's hear about Biloxi, dude. How was it? It's been a minute.
It was a good trip. I'll just say that up front. It was a great trip. But things happen that kind of put you in a mood that you don't want to be in when you're in a casino.
Oh, what happened, Ed? We hope you enjoyed this podcast and will tell all of your fellow craps playing friends about it. Please follow Casino Tears on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. If you like the show, please rate it 5 stars and leave a review. The best and most fun way to contact us would be to call and leave a message on our official Casino Tears vent line, 229-07. You can also email us at no7@casinotears.com. New episodes drop weekly every Tuesday. On behalf of Roll to Win Craps from Alabama and 10 Ton is #1 from Las Vegas, thanks for listening.